DOIJ podcast. Today we've already done one podcast and we're doing another because this podcast is the one that was scheduled for today. The one we did earlier today was the one that was supposed to be on Wednesday, but due to a lot of technical errors that I don't know exactly what happened, but it did not happen. So, yeah, that's why there are two podcasts today instead of one. So, we'll get on with it in just a minute. One more second. So today, in this podcast right here, I'm going to be sharing with you our plans. Not all of our plans. We have a lot of other plans in the works, but this one is one that we can easily do. That is pretty much worked out. I mean, there's pretty much one detail to figure out, as well as another, and to test it and see if it goes well, which is what I'll be doing. And basically, today, hey Crimson, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining. How you doing? So today I have to announce that we will be doing, hopefully it'll be weekly. It's definitely going to be at least once a month. I know I am going to do it, I'm going to try to do it weekly on my, there's going to be, okay. I'm trying to put this the right way here. So, there is going to be... So, I'll be doing this in two areas. Same channel. I might even make a channel entirely dedicated to it. But... Oh shit, that's right. But here's what's going to be going down. So we're going to be doing it on the podcast server, so we're going to try to do at least once a week. It's not going to be a scheduled podcast of Wednesday and Saturday. It's going to be we're going to try and have it scheduled for specific days. We're going to let you, we're going to try that. If not, we'll let you know on the net. We'll try and have it scheduled before we end the current one, whatever one's currently going on. And what it is that I am referring to, that I'm trying to be as vague as possible, is we are going to be doing charity podcast streams. And of course, on my channel, I'm going to be doing some charity gameplay streams. Now, during the charity podcast streams, we will be playing games to kind of keep you all a little entertained. But we'll also be kind of just talking, podcasting as normal. And in these podcast charity streams, if you have the same console, if you have the same game, you will actually be able to join us. Now, the difference between the normal podcasts and these charity podcasts is, aside from the other one being called a charity podcast, which I'll get into that in a minute, but the normal podcasts, our time we try and keep it to is about 30-40 minutes. We rarely go to 50 minutes, and that's if I ramble, which unfortunately happens a lot. Which I do apologize for, by the way. The charity podcasts, these will be for hopefully at least a few hours. I say hopefully because, of course, it depends on how long the stream stays up. Sometimes YouTube or PlayStation. Not entirely sure which. I like to blame... thank you, Taylor2KGoat. Thank you for subbing. I do like to, I kind of blame YouTube for it, seeing as how I do have some problems now and then with them. Anyway, just technical issue problems, not, that's for another podcast, or another non-podcast video, probably podcast video. Anyway, it just kind of depends on how long the stream stays up, how long we stay connected, so, like the internet, and how the charity podcasts are going to work, as well as the charity streams, of which I am going to be doing a charity stream with a very good friend of mine on Thursday. Is how they're gonna work is I will put my PayPal in the description, which I will be linking that right after this video. I meant to do beforehand, but well, as I always do, I got a little distracted, so apologies there. But I'll put my PayPal in the description, and how it's gonna work is if it's a podcast charity stream, myself and Stephanie will go ahead and pick from a long list that I'm actually still typing out every list, every charity, to then send to her so that she has the list. But we're going to pick a charity that is on PayPal, and how it's going to work is if it's a charity, PayPal, not charity, if it's a charity podcast, you will give your donation to the PayPal. You'll go to the PayPal link in the description. You'll go ahead and give your donation. And now I think I have it set up to go straight to my bank account. I'm looking to try to make sure I have that disabled, but no worries. Before every podcast, before every charity stream, actually, I'm going to go to my bank account and put everything in savings so I know exactly how much has been donated, just in case it does get by, which is why we're going to be doing a test one on Thursday, which will also be an actual legitimate charity stream. But what we're going to be doing, how it's going to work, is you will give a donation, and 80% of that donation will go to the charity. I know you're saying, why not 100%? Well, because the podcast charity event, the reason not 100% is going for that, or for the podcast charity anyway, or the charity podcast, is because 80% goes to the charity of whatever we're doing, which we will announce it. It'll be in the title, or it'll be in the description, something like that. But so that'll go there, and then the rest will go into the into like a the rest will go straight into my savings. But here's why. I know you're probably thinking greedy. No, it's actually because the rest of that is actually going to be used to do giveaways. So like when we do our Christmas time giveaway, we can actually do bigger giveaways. And seeing as how this year, at holiday 2020, there's going to be the release of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One. And quite frankly, I would love to be able to give away at least a PS5 and an Xbox One, even if that means that I don't go with myself. But so that's what that would go towards. So it's not always going to be a console. It might be a new game or a currency of some type. Which I know I still have someone to give you your currency, Wolf. I will figure that out, I promise. But try to get right back on that. Now I actually have a little bit of money to try and do that with. But yeah, so that's where that money is going to go. Is that 10% or that 20% rather. Okay, well actually that's not true. 10% is going to go to Steph if she joins us for the podcast. If not, then that's where that goes. And then that's where my 10% is going to go. Now, if it is the charity live stream with my very good friend, who you'll find out who that is very soon, as we will be doing it sometime Thursday. But probably Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, something like that. It's still 80% will go to the charity that we have decided. But the reason that it's 80% there is because 10% will go to my good friend for giving us his time to do this. And he was ecstatic about this as well. And he's excited. He doesn't know that I'm giving him 10% for his time, but yeah. So, but then my 10% will go again straight into savings, and it will go straight back towards y'all. I mean, I might have to keep a little bit of it if I get run a little bills pay or something, but I will try and keep as much of that in savings for you all. So I'll keep track of everything that's coming in and everything that's going to who, and So that I'm really excited to announce. So again, we will be doing a, by we, I mean me and my good friend will be doing a charity gaming stream. I don't know what we're going to be playing. We might be playing the Division 2. We might be playing Grand Theft. I think we'll probably play the Division 2. I'm not entirely sure. We have actually had to smooth out those details. The other detail we have to smooth out is what charity we're going to give to. I'll probably send him the list as well, which it is an extensive list. I mean, PayPal has a lot of charities in a lot of different areas. I don't know if they have any outside the U.S. I think they have some for European military. So I'm not exactly sure how that works. I mean, I've looked. Well, I don't know how it works. I mean, and of course, before I decide any charity, we're gonna pick a few. We're gonna look at them and see. We're gonna look at their. We'll find a way to look at the reviews, because I know some charities tend to be kind of scams, and kind of more on the greedy side, not really helping people like they say they're going to. And that's not good. We want to give charities that are actually going to help whatever the cause is. And I'm actually going to, if this actually gets, then if we do really well, then I actually have a few other ideas on how it can also benefit you all. Like I said, don't forget, the 20% is, my share is going to, my share of the 10% or 20%, depending on if Stephanie joins us, will be going straight back into the podcast. Or not straight back, but go to my savings, and then that'll be counted towards, whatever, that'll be added towards the total for the next giveaway we do. And if, these are good enough, I'm actually going to try to get a certain company. I mentioned them earlier in the last podcast we did, but so I'm gonna try and see if maybe they'll match some dollars for dollars, or they'll do something. So I'm actually gonna, but we've got to get a certain amount. So we'll see how well the Thursday stream does. We'll see how the PayPal thing works out, and again, that money will actually go towards whatever the charity is. So that'll be, hopefully, I'll try and announce that by Tuesday. I'll try and have something figured out. Once I know it, I'll announce it. I'll announce it in the podcast server. I'll announce it on my channel. I'll announce it on Twitter. So, so it'll definitely be something that'll hopefully be great. Hopefully we can raise a lot of money. I'm going to see if I can find something for Australia bushfires. We'll see. Right now we're going to stick with what's on PayPal. But there are a lot of charities, and we're going to kind of see if we can find the ones that really need the help the most. Now, they all need help, of course. They're charities. But we're going to see if we can find the ones that are in dire need of financial help. And we're going to try for that. And then if this stuff, and if this really works, and we can raise a lot of money for these charities, like I said, I have a lot of different ideas that I think would be great, that I would love to implement. But we got to wait and see how well this does. Hope you all join us, spread the word, and we can raise a lot of money. So so let's go ahead and get excited for that. I know I am ecstatic about that. I cannot wait for the charity stream on Thursday. And if you want to join us in the podcast stream during the game, we will be announcing what the game is that day, or the day before, whatever, that we will be playing. It'll of course have an online aspect. It'll be a game that both of us own, both Stephanie and I own. But I'm going to try and do it weekly. We'll try and do it different. I was going to do it bi-weekly or monthly, but I want to try and raise as much money for as many charities as possible. And there are a lot of charities on PayPal. I mean, once I actually get all the lists done, I get them all written down, I'm actually going to go ahead and count them out for you all, and I'll put that announcements as to how many different charities there are listed on PayPal. So yeah, there you have it. That's what we're now. That's the announcement. Hopefully you all like it. If you do, leave a like. Don't forget to join the official DOIJ podcast server here on Discord. That'll be the first thing in the description. Go ahead and join that, so you can kind of get a feel for when we're going to go live with the first podcast charity stream. And if you want to know, we're going to be going live with the specific time. I'm going to try and post it an hour before. It might just be a pop-up stream, but it will be Thursday. Thursday is today. Today is Saturday. So you have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. 4 or 5 days, depending on, or 5, 6 days, depending on, what days you do and do not want to include. But go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. Don't forget to turn on the notifications as well. And I'll talk to you later. Thank you all so much for listening in.